Hello everyone, good morning. So we are the group 2 and I'm Fernandez and my members are Barrett, Cantalejo, Monteclar and Pilapil. So this morning we're gonna talk all about the lesson 8 and it's entitled the gender and sexuality as a psychosocial issue. When you finish reading this chapter, you should be able to define the term psychosocial, discuss the psychosocial dimension of gender and sexuality, and reflect upon one's responsibility in ensuring psychosocial wellness in the aspect of gender and development. So to start with, Mr. Barrett will be the first reporter.
So hello everyone, I am Mario Barrett Jr. And so to start, we have here the definition of terms. First is the psychosocial. It is a term pertaining to psychological and social factors and the interaction of these factors. So psychosocial means relating to the interrelation of social factors and individuals' thought and behavior. So when we say social factors, these are the things that affect someone's lifestyle. This could be wealth, relationship, social status, family, religion, and etc. Next is the psychosocial issues. It is the needs and concerns relating to one or all of the psychosocial dimensions. Then, when we say psychosocial issues, mo niya mga negative feelings and emotions nga maka-affect sa atong lifestyle. Example for this includes the family problems, depression sa school-related tasks, anxiety, sexual abuse, and violence. Third, we have the reproductive role. This is the social script ascribed to individuals pertaining to their role in childbearing and child-rearing and related tasks such as maintaining the household. So, reproductive role are those that procreate and sustain the human race. Examples: reproducing children, looking after children, caring for the sick, cleaning and washing up. These are usually the maintenance rules without any monetary value or walay bayad or kapalit. Last, we have the productive role. It is the social script ascribed to individuals pertaining to their role in economic production and related tasks such as engaging in public affairs and living in the world of work. So, productive role are those that generate food and wealth in exchange for the service you provided.
Good day everyone, my name is Rachel Pilapil, and to continue our report, let me introduce again what psychosocial is. So psychosocial is comprised by two primary aspects, which is the psychological and social. So this pertains to one's psychological development in the context of one's environment. Now, when we say psychological, it is anything that is associated with your mental process and your behavior. In other words, it is excuse me. It is logical that involves internal aspects, just like your feelings, your thoughts, and your beliefs. And then when we say social, it is associated with your relationship, your connection, or interaction with people. So basically, it involves your external aspects because it refers on how you socialize, your attitudes like in your environment towards your peers and etc. And we do actually have this primary psychological domains: the affect, the behavior, and the cognition. When we say affect, it involves again your feelings, your emotions, your attitudes, and it includes the ways in which how we deal with our external and internal phenomenon emotionally. In other words, it involves our manners or values in which we deal and respond sa isa ka situation. And then for the next one, the behavior is this may influenced by our actual imagined or implied presence of others. This domain of psychological is concerned with the way of such your feelings, intentions, and goals that are constructed, and how these psychological factors in turn will influence on how we interact with other people. So this includes forces such as our practices, like your any like racial identity. And then for the last psychological domain, the cognition, kay this involves our knowledge. Kay this domain focuses on our thoughts or our ability to recall information or experiences. And then for the next slide, we have the psychosocial dimension. So it is our experience of gender and sexuality that is generally a rational experience. So it is rational because while we as individuals, we have our own affect or cognition and our own behavior to be aware of. And there are some elements of our gendered self which are best viewed in an ecological context that is in the circumstances in our physical and social environment. Meaning, kanang it is used to assess the quality of life of our psychological health, such as our affective states, like if we're feeling happy, if we're satisfied, if we're very optimistic or interested in life, in contrast sa atong negative feeling if kanang anxious bata or depressed or anything. And of course, as well as to our memory and attention span. So that's all for my report.
As for the continuation of the report, I'm Katet Fernandez. So, at the front of our experience as gendered beings, natay gitawag nga awareness. So, unsa maning awareness? So, awareness is the state or ability to perceive, to feel, or to be conscious of events, objects, or sensory patterns. So, in simpler terms, awareness is our conscious understanding of something. So, as individuals, naata sa karon nga constant process toward sa atohang self-awareness pod. So, who and what am I? What do I like, dislike, and what are my strengths and weaknesses? So, we are in an endless process of asking and trying to understand ourselves as well. So, mo na ang self-awareness, it is, the meaning is the ability to focus sa imuhang self, sa imong actions, sa imong thoughts, o sa imong emotions nga nag-align pod sa imong internal standards. But then again, we are in the context of gender and sexuality pod, we ask pod nga, what am I physiologically? Am I happy with what I am right now? Like, naghang mga questions nga atong maka-ask, diba, sa atohang self. Like, how do I genuinely see myself? How do I feel about myself as a sexual being? And is there anything good I should do? So, a lot of questions nga atong mag-ask sa atong self. But then again, we are not isolated in a vacuum. We are a social beings. So, we live our lives in relation to others. Nagpuyo ta sa ato kinabuhi nga namgarelate po ta sa ubang tao. Hence, as we try to understand ourselves more, but we are also in a constant process pod towards other awareness. So, mo na, panasabot is understanding others. So, what is the others' motivations, ilang preferences, ilang aspirations, ilang life, where am I positioned in her or his life, and where is he positioned in my life, diba? Maka-question ta, and how different and or similar am I sa lahi sa ubang tao. So mo na ang other awareness, it involves nga the skills of observing, recognizing, and understanding the basic wants sa others and expectations pod sa feelings pod say the other people have mo na ang other awareness. Next is intimacy and relationship. So in certain situations, if when the two people recognize and become aware of each other, so they decide to keep close distance in each other's lives. So nag-share na silang personal bubbles and personal experience silang kinabuhi, and they allow frequency of interaction between them. So this some form of manang human relationship. So human relationship, it is a bond formed between two or more people, manifested through communication and interaction. So these relationships may be in the form of family, friendships, romantic relationships, or others. While in these relationships, we share resources and emotions, no? We as individuals were constantly aim to further understand our own ourselves, as we also try to understand others and to be understood by them. So this process of knowing others is what we call the intimacy. So intimacy is the process of knowing others and allowing others to know us. So mo na siya ang ginatawag nga intimacy. Mo ni ang process nga if knowing others, ay maganahan nimo mahibaw-an ang ubang tao, and nag-allow pod ka nga ang ubang tao nga ilapod sa imuha. Mo na ang intimacy. Mo na ay intimacy between relationship between human. So intimacy and relationship. So as social beings, and we also learn from our own experience and from the lesson taught to us by those who have come before us, and how we behave in relation sa ubang tao, with due consideration to a social expectations nag-related pud sa ato ang gender, and how we make choices to balance out a personal goals in a social goals, and it might be passed on to us through education and other cultural preoccupations. So this process is what we call the socialization. So socialization is the process by which we learn cultural norms and traditions. So at the end of it all, as irrational beings, we are also capable of making sense sa ato ang own experiences and sa influences sa ato ang environments, as we integrate these interpretations into our own choice. So that would be all, and thank you. Next reporter, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shanina Alexa Cantalejo, and I'll be talking about well-being as a psychosocial goal. The ultimate goal of understanding the psychosocial aspects of our experiences is well-being, which is a state of satisfaction, meaning, and purpose. Psychosocial well-being means that it incorporates the physical, economic, social, mental, emotional, cultural, and spiritual determinants of health. There are two kinds of well-being, the objective and subjective well-being. So first, let's talk about objective well-being. Objective well-being, one is that kind of well-being which is observed, outward, and can be evaluated through the presence or absence of particular elements in our environment. Also, it is often assessed using indicators that measure aspects of education, physical, built environment, community, and economy. This approach tends to capture a societal rather than individual perspective on well-being that is based on material, tangible, and quantitative indicators. So, kaning objective is more on nag-focus sa unsay maobserbahan nimo sa ato society or sa environment. So, they capture societal kaysa sa perspective sa katao. Next will be subjective well-being. Another side of well-being is our personal experiences of satisfaction, meaning, and purpose. Subjective because it pertains to our own appreciation of how well we are. The closest word to also mean subjective well-being is happiness. So, kaning subjective well-being kay mura ni siyang self-reported type of well-being. kaya naman, because it refers to how people experience and evaluate different aspects of their lives. So, signs of subjective well-being. In Diener research, he found that most people generally report positive feelings about their well-being. In studies of very happy individuals, researchers found that while no single factor determined happiness, those who reported the highest levels of subjective well-being had satisfying social lives and were rarely lonely. So, kaning difference between these two kinds of well-being is that objective well-being examines the objective components of a good life, while subjective well-being examines people's subjective evaluations of their life. Now, we can see a table showing the different examples under the objective well-being and subjective well-being. First is subjective well-being. Under objective well-being are distribution of social goods, cultural diversity, social integration, political shaping, and environment. Under distribution of social goods are education, occupation, unemployment, care work, income, and wealth. Cultural diversity, nationalities, language diversity, religion, cultural activities, and media. Social integration, social contacts, welfare state, poverty, volunteer work, housing, health, and criminality. Political shaping, political parties, institutions, positions, possibilities for participation, and political activities. While environment are resources and risk. Next is subjective well-being. Under subjective well-being are cognitive well-being, hedonic well-being, eudaimonic well-being. Under cognitive well-being are cognitive, rational dimensions of well-being, content, life satisfaction in general or domain-specific satisfaction. Hedonic well-being, emotional dimension of well-being, content, positive and negative effect. Eudaimonic well-being, psychosocial dimension of well-being, content, meaning of life, personal growth, and positive relationships. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. My discussion is dimension of well-beings. A short introduction. A well-beings is the combination of feeling good and functioning well. The experience of positive emotions such as happiness and contentment, as well as the development of one potential having some control over one life, having a sense of purpose, and experiencing positive relationship. To be able to achieve that, there are primary dimension. We must look into the try understanding the physiological condition of the person. Physical, so these are the physical biological health of the person. Includes their active living, substance use, healthy habits and routines, nutrition and healthy sleep, staying in shape and taking care of oneself. Emotional, this is the positive feeling mode stability. It means the ability to produce positive emotions, mode, thoughts, and feeling and adapts when confronted with adversity and stressful situation. Number 3, mental clarity of mind, healthy thought process. This can be described as a combination of how we feel, our emotional and life satisfaction, and how we function, relationship with others, personal control, purpose in life, and dependence. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Number 4, material. Available and adequate financial and other resource, and it means that individual and their families are able to participate in all aspects of community life that appeal to them. This includes housing, security, and sufficient income to meet one's needs. Social, healthy and positive interaction and relationship with others. This can be defined as the sharing, developing, and sustaining of meaningful relationship with others. This allows the person to feel authentic and valued and provides a sense of connectedness and belongings. That's all, sir. Thank you.
For the summary of our report, in this chapter, one of the essential elements of our gender and sexuality is the psychosocial dimension. So, aside from upholding human dignity and human rights, one of the ultimate goals of our discussions of gender and sexuality is to ensure well being among people of different genders and understanding our psychosocial needs and concerns, as well as the various elements of our psychosocial conditions as humans, and it is necessary. And we hope that you guys learn something from us today. And so that would be all. Thank you for listening, and God bless.